Optimus Prime. We all love him. He's the best. And one of the things Optimus Prime is best known for is just giving the best speeches of all time. Optimus starts speaking and you are ready to go fight Megatron. That's how powerful this man's words are. So today, I am ranking every single Optimus Prime speech, but only in the live action movies because God knows I'm not diving into everything they've ever done. So we have 8 speeches here to talk about. Now you're probably thinking, aren't there only 5 movies? Shouldn't there be 5 speeches? No, because sometimes he gives more than one speech a movie. So yes, we have the ending speech from each Transformers movie. Then we also have the freedom is the right of all sentient beings speech that he gives in the first Transformers movie, as well as his kind of rallying into battle speeches that he gives in both Dark of the Moon and Transformers The Last Knight. And so I ranked all 8 of them, and I'm going to talk about that now. At number 8, we have the ending speech from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Now, yes, this is an Optimus speech paired with Linkin Park, and there's very few things that can top that, but this speech is so forgettable. I can recite almost all of the speeches from memory. I could never do that with Revenge of the Fallen until I watched it over and over trying to figure out where I wanted to rank it in this video. It is a super, super forgettable speech. It also feels tacked on because the speech at the end of the first one was so good, and they're like, oh, we need to give Optimus another ending speech, so they did that in this one. And the actual message of this speech makes no sense with the context of the movie prior. Look at all the other ones, right? Look at the ending of the first one. That speech works with the theme of that movie. The ending of Dark of the Moon, about not giving up on Earth, works with that movie. Same with the fourth one, same with The Last Knight. All of those speeches have to do with what was learned in the movie. In Revenge of the Fallen, on the other hand, this speech really doesn't have anything to do with the movie.
I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message so that our pasts will always be remembered.
Now, moving on to number 7, we have the ending speech from Transformers The Last Knight. It's not that this one's bad per se, it's also kind of forgettable, and it does kind of come out of nowhere. It's right after the climax of the movie. They've defeated Quintessa, they've defeated Megatron. Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock are falling to Earth at like terminal velocity, and Optimus has to catch them, and then for a second they're like, oh my god, they didn't make it, and then you see Optimus come out of the rubble. It's awesome, and then Optimus starts talking. It's like, whoa! Hold your horses, man. That just went from very intense into an Optimus speech just immediately. It's so quick and out of nowhere. But what I do like about this one, it has to do with the story that this movie has, and it not only serves the purpose of ending this movie, but really ending the entire Bayverse of Transformers films, which it does to the best of its ability, and it is a nice, satisfying ending for the Autobot storyline, which I do enjoy. At number 6 is one I really wish I could put higher because I do really like this scene, but it's another ending speech, and it's the speech that Optimus delivers at the end of Transformers Dark of the Moon. Now, the reason this one's so low is because this one really is just the epitome of coming out of nowhere. The ending of Dark of the Moon is so abrupt. It takes a minute to realize the movie's actually over. I mean, he executes Sentinel, he executes Megatron, and then Sam sees Carly again, and then boom! We're talking. And it feels like some of the conclusion was just not there for the movie. And I wonder if that would have worked better if they had the original ending of this movie. For those of you who don't know, the original ending leaked and it caused Paramount and Hasbro to rewrite it. Originally, Megatron and Optimus team up to kill Sentinel, and then Megatron he offers a truce with Optimus and decides to leave and just kind of dips out, and Optimus lets him live. I feel like this speech might have worked better if we actually got that nice resolution instead of just abrupt endings for all of these characters we've been following. But in terms of actual character moments, which is one of the strong points of all the speeches very high up on the list, is that a good Optimus speech should give you some insight into his character, and this one does that for me. I mean, you have Optimus has been beaten around by the humans in this movie. He has lost so much. He's lost friends, basically family. The Decepticons have won. He had to kill the guy he looked up to. He had to kill his brother. And then at the very end, he still has the ability to get up and say that he'll always be there for Earth. And that's one of the best things about Optimus Prime, and that's the best thing about this speech.
But the day will never come that we forsake this planet and its people.
Now let's move on to number 5. At number 5, we have Optimus Prime's war declaration from Transformers Dark of the Moon. This is the definition of hype. This is how you declare war. Optimus comes back. When they're at their low point, Epps is like, Sam, this ain't gonna work. We gotta dip out. And then Optimus comes in and just declares war on the Decepticons in the coolest way possible.
We will kill them all.
It's short, it's sweet, it gets to the point, it hypes you up for what is an amazing third act of a movie. And that's it. I don't really have any issues with too many of the speeches from here on out, but something had to be low and I had to give it to the Dark of the Moon War Declaration. At number 4, we have Optimus Prime's speech from the end of Transformers Age of Extinction. Now, this movie's not great, but the speech really does stick out at the end. First off, it's not abrupt. It actually feels more like an ending to the movie. It serves as a resolution to this story and really wrapping up the plot of the movie as well as Optimus's arc, if you can call it that.
But whenever you look to the stars, think of one of them as my soul.
It's a good example of what an Optimus speech should be. It inspires, it feels like a bit of a conclusion, it feels like there's been some sort of change that's echoed in the speech, even though it's not really echoed in the movie. And not to mention, he just says some cool stuff in this.
Leave planet Earth alone, 'cause I'm coming for you.
Bringing us into the top 3, we have Optimus's rallying into battle speech from Transformers The Last Knight. For a really bad, convoluted, unbelievable movie, this scene is very well done. There is one well-written scene in Transformers The Last Knight, and it's Optimus Prime's speech before leading the Autobots and the Knights into battle. This occurs when the story most needs it. It's at a time that Optimus has now been gone from humanity doing evil stuff. Bumblebee has brought him back. He's been beaten to shit by the Knights and Megatron and Quintessa and Bumblebee. Cybertron is quite literally connecting with Earth. The world needs its hope again. And then right then you have Optimus Prime come back and motivate everyone to go into battle. When I first heard this speech, I wanted to fight Megatron. I was ready to go. I was ready to stand up in my theater and cheer and lead everyone else in the audience into battle against the Decepticons. This speech isn't just inspiring, it's fucking inspiring. And Optimus probably has the coolest line he has ever said on screen in this scene.
And when the account of the ages is etched into the cosmos, let those who exist long after us know that this was our finest hour.
Alright, well, for those of you who have been counting and keeping track, the last 2 speeches are obviously from the 2007 film. So at number 2, I put the ending speech from the original Transformers movie. Now, for a lot of people, this is a definitive Optimus speech, and this actually spent most of while I was typing up this list. This was at number 1 for most of it, but it got surpassed by something else. I'll explain why in a minute. Now, this is absolutely iconic. For a lot of people, this is what they think of when they hear Optimus Prime and speech in the same sentence. You got the iconic ending shot with the speech over it, and then Linkin Park kicks in right as it cuts to credits. It is like the best thing of my childhood.
We are waiting.
And it's funny because the amount of hype you can feel after watching this, whenever I finish watching Transformers 2007, when Optimus gives that speech, my next course of action is the desire to put in Revenge of the Fallen. That's how good it is. And the only reason this is not number one is because the actual speech I put at number one is a much better insight into Optimus Prime's character. So at number one, we have the freedom is everyone's right scene from that original 2007 film. This is a great moment of character for Optimus. This builds up what Optimus Prime should be, and while later movies forgot about that in favor of making him a bloodthirsty John Wick-style badass, I feel like this first movie really did understand Optimus, and this speech gets everything about Optimus right in just a few seconds. It shows why he was picked to be in charge. It shows why he's the worthy leader of the Autobots. It shows why he is the one who should be saving humanity. And he just says some unforgettable lines in this speech, some lines I will remember until the day I die.
A primitive and violent race. Were we so different? Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. It's been an honor serving with you all. Autobots, roll out!
Well, there you guys go. That is my ranking of all 8 Optimus Prime speeches from the live-action Transformers films. What did you think of my list? Put yours down in the comments below. Also, leave a like on this video, subscribe, and click on the bell icon so you get notified of all the videos I'm doing. I've been trying to upload here more. I'm working on some fun videos, so definitely subscribe and get notified for all of those. I will see you guys in the next one.